Hey guys, it's Vince. Today I want to discuss a new product design that I've been working on for quite some time, and honestly it's probably one of the most least appreciated components in your CNC controller build, and that is your CNC enclosure for your electronics. I know a lot of guys out there are saying, you know what, I can go online and I could buy a Weigman enclosure, I could buy a computer case, or I'll buy a plastic case, and I'll make my own actual enclosure. That's fine, okay? I want to discuss what I see as fault with those designs because I've been doing this so long. And again, if you review my eBay store, you can see the sales. I'm not kidding. I built a lot of controllers, guys. I've serviced a lot of controllers. And that being said, I just made it, I really set out on a mission to create one of the simplest chassis designs you could possibly build, and that was what I really wanted to do. Simple in effect that you could work on it super easy. You could expand it super easy. And again, make it as toolless as possible. So again, it's the most user-friendly design on the market, and the end user themselves, whether you're a company owner, whether you're going to hire a technician, whether you're working out of your basement, you will be able to service this unit yourself as easily as possible. That I cannot express to you is probably one of the biggest key advantages to this type of chassis. So let's look at real quick what we deal with the typical enclosures that have been used for years. We'll start with just a typical computer case. Computer cases are great for PCs. They really don't support the high-end need of a CNC enclosure as far as space constraints. The fans are not really put in optimal locations for most of the drives. Even if you buy a large chassis, again, they're usually just designed to cool hard drive CPUs. It's just not designed for CNC. Lots of excess holes which allow debris in. It's just more of a hassle. The designs you've seen online, and I'm sure most of you have done searches for ideas, they never look complete, or at least in my eyes never look complete. Simplistically, they are easy. I mean, again, a computer case usually is one of the easiest designs. They do encompass a lot of features that try to keep things really easy to maneuver parts around. They do have toolless bays and whatnot. But overall, just not a really complete design. When you step up then the field with a Weigman or a pro-grade enclosure, which you're usually dealing with is a very heavy steel enclosure. Again, in an environment that requires it, that's one thing. Most environments do not really require a Weigman enclosure. A shop that you're converting a Bridgeport mill over, again, and I'm not talking about a full grade manufacturing facility. I'm talking about a guy who went to the auction, bought himself a Bridgeport from the 70s, wants to convert it over, do a retrofit. He doesn't need that Weigman enclosure. He really doesn't want a Weigman enclosure, and the main reason he doesn't is, first of all, it's made out of steel, which means servicing the unit, it's extremely heavy, awkward to use. It does not break down. All the side panels are all one piece. So milling the unit is usually done by hand, or if you are going to mill it with some type of CNC robot, you are going to require a large Z-axis to get clearance over them. Okay, so realistically, unless you're dealing with real small components, everything breaks down, you're kind of SOL with that. You are dealing with a lot of weight. Most of them do have an internal base plate. I've used them myself for years that will remove all of your electronics. The problem with that is that you always have to then design your cooling system so that it doesn't get in the way when you go to remove the base plate, which is a hassle in itself. You got to lift everything. It's very heavy, it's very awkward, and it's wide. It's just a hassle. That being said, you factor in the machining time you need to do for that chassis, whether it be for the actual computer case, whether it be for the actual a Weigman enclosure or another enclosure. 9 out of 10 enclosure manufacturers only manufacture enclosures for a specific purpose. That being said, of course, is it going to support your need? Weigman enclosures, they're just open source enclosures, so of course you have to do all the manufacturing. That's where the beauty of this baby comes in, the simplistic side. When I say simplistic, the chassis plate that you see here, and just to give you guys dimensions, you're dealing with a 17-inch wide by 24-inch long by 8-inch high enclosure. That size will encompass virtually any commercial grade CNC component you can get. And again, definitely support my 72 volt 16.5 amp power supply. On top of that, one of the biggest things that I love is the fact that I'm using toolless thumb screws to mount your chassis plate. Now, just so you guys know, the chassis plate you see in front of you actually holds 18 of these screws. Now, I only have 4 in place right now because I'm actually shooting a video, and just to give you guys demonstration purposes, I didn't want to sit here to go through all that, but realistically you can remove 18 of these screws in less than a minute. And I did a time study yesterday to check it. I'm not rushing, I'm not, going crazy. You can undo these screws just about as fast as you can turn them, and again, very, very quickly. That being said, this enclosure, I don't know how it's appearing on camera right now, it's looking like it's gold. It is not anodized gold, okay? The enclosure is made out of aluminum, but what the finish you see upon this unit is actually an EMI conductive coating for high frequency EMI. There is very minimal holes in this chassis, other than the actual fan holes. And again, every chassis I design always has minimal holes. Again, you do need breathing holes, but when we're doing a large scale chassis, I wanted to keep it as tight as possible. And this unit, again, only has the fan intake and extraction holes. Again, it is pre-machined. That being said, the chassis itself, you can see on the sides, has screws. So that means this unit completely breaks down. You can completely break down this unit instead of a Weigman or another enclosure where you have to sit there and manually work on everything and deal with the side panels mounted and all that. You can literally, instead of having to remove a base plate, you can just not install your side panels until you're done, and guess what? You can service and mount everything without the side panels. Okay, that being said, you can also make it so that you can see screws are being used right here, but you can use thumb screws if you'd like. So if you wanted a completely toolless chassis to be dismantled in minutes, you could break down the entire chassis with virtually no downtime, not even a screwdriver, guys. Okay, it's actually a rack mount design. It's based on a rack mount enclosure, so again, very, very simple to work with. You can mount the unit. You can see you do have hole mounts in the front. Front panel plate is 3 mil in aluminum thickness. The rest of the unit is 2 mil in aluminum thickness. So again, you don't need a ridiculous sized drill. You can machine this unit with hand tools and do it very, very easily. A typical drill will work fine. Again, very, very simple unit to work on. And I'll just show you exactly how she is going to be offered. How I will be selling this, you can see the switches already in place. She will come with all switches and ports pre-mounted. You do have the handles on the front. Cooling system is already mounted. Now, guys, just to let you know, I'm using my traditional metal mesh screen cooling filters, and again, I only use metal mesh for high optimal airflow, and on top of that, very simple to be clean. They never wear out. You can rinse these units out and reuse them again immediately. Again, minimal amount of holes in this chassis, and again, as far as these fans being serviceable, they are toolless mounted the way that they should be, so that you can service your fans or change them at will with virtually no downtime. Okay, and again, you do have one that is extracting heat and one that is actually bringing an intake. So you're basically creating a tornadic effect inside the unit itself. You have cool air going in, hot air going out, and you're set to go. I'm going to rotate the unit around one more time. Now, rear of the unit, I'm real proud of because it's so simple. I love simplicity. And again, this is without a doubt the easiest chassis to work on, bar none. GX16 5-pin connectors, once again, these are all offered in my store. Everything that you see here is offered in my store and I use myself currently. I just wanted, again, to amplify a simple design. This is without a doubt super simple and effective. You're looking at a GX16 3-pin for your power input. Again, these are locking ports. So you will have the locking nut that actually screws on. So again, you'll destroy a cable before a plug will accidentally unplug. On top of them being probably, I would say overall, probably the highest grade connector you can get as far as quality. Over here we have our typical DB25 output. And why I went with a DB25, you can see this is male, not a problem. We could use a a female adapter, a female plug. You can choose to mount your breakout board there, but I'm going to show you the idea that I use whenever I mount breakout boards, and you can see if that fits your application. Right now what I'm going to do is just undo the thumb screws, and we're going to go inside the chassis and we can review exactly how this unit is set up and how much room you actually have to work with. So all 4 thumb screws have been removed. I'm going to just lift the plate off. And now you can plainly see inside how we've got this set up. Let's see if I can just zoom in a little bit. See if I can get that. There we go. Get the camera right. And now you can see. Now what I use is a DB25 cable. And the main reason I'm going to encompass including a DB25 cable. Now this is a male-to-male cable. Now we can go with a male to female if you'd like, whichever way you want. It's a 3-foot cable, so it'll easily go across the entire chassis. Okay, so you can route your DB25 breakout board or your input to a DB25 anywhere you'd like. Now you can see that the base plate is not drilled at all. And I know a lot of guys are going to be asking me, why didn't you machine the base plate? Because I don't want you guys to be locked in to my own design. I want you guys to have an open build to go through and say, hey, my drives, I'm not using Gecko drive, I'm using Lead Shine, or I'm going to go through and, I do have some guys that will use Chinese drives. This unit will support basically any configuration you can go with. Again, you can see where your motor pins are, so you have your bulkhead connectors all the way through. You can then see your cooling fans, how they're mounted. And again, come over here, I'm just trying to see the computer. And you can see all of this room. Now to give you guys an idea and perspective of just how much room this is, just bear with me a moment. I'm going to put in my 72 volt toolless power supply. Okay. Now again, you can put this anywhere you'd like, of course, because the supply itself will mount virtually anywhere. And what you have now, I'm just showing you, you can mount this supply right here against the wall. Again, being she's toolless, you can now see you're going to drill 2 holes for your actual terminal blocks, power distribution unit. And now you have that mounted with 2 holes there. The mounting brackets for the power supply are 2 holes. You could use thumb screws there. You've got thumb screws here to dismount your actual mounting or your actual terminal blocks. So if you ever needed to change or service this power supply, it's literally in minutes. The next thing you're going to need, heat sink and drive mount. Once again, offered in my store, very, very simple. You drill 2 holes. You can see exactly the 2 mounting holes. So she's toolless. These are stackable, so if you wanted to go 6-axis, you could do that. Again, this system comes pre-milled for 4-axis. However, if you did want to go 6, you could. And you could mount these anywhere. You could mount the drives on the wall. You can mount them over here. Anywhere you see fit for your direct application. But when you break this design down, it's endless in capability. And as far as size constraint, you're no longer limited. And just to give you guys a weight advantage, and why I say a weight advantage, you're probably like, what the hell is he talking about? If you bought a Weigman enclosure or a steel enclosure, the weight of a Weigman enclosure that's actually fully mounted with all accessories is, I just did one that was 30 inches, it weighed over 100 pounds. One that's 24 inches probably will weigh about 60. This unit by itself only weighs about 30. Okay, so, and that's shipping weight. So realistically, with the components in there, it probably weighs along the lines of maybe 40 pounds, if that. So shipping this unit is much, much easier. And on top of that, servicing the unit, I don't have to tell you, you can see again how your enclosure actually breaks down. Very, very simple design. And endless opportunity for manipulation. Now, another thing I'm going to be offering for this package, and actually just by itself, because I think it's just mandatory to have, is the a toolless mount for your breakout board. Breakout boards go all the time. They always run into issues. I mean, it can happen over time. It can happen when you get one. I've had it happen, and one of the biggest things I want to do is make a thumb screw mount for that. So let's look at the math here. You could literally drill 2 holes. The heat sink will then mount all 3. If you have a 3-axis retrofit, it'll mount all 3 of your Gecko Pro drives. You drill another 2 holes wherever you decide you want to mount your terminal blocks for your power output on your power supply, anywhere you like. So you've got 2 holes there, 2 holes there, and you've already got your drives mounted, and 4 holes actually in total, I'm sorry. 2 holes for your power distribution blocks, 2 holes for your mounts to mount your power supply. So you'd have 4, 5, 6 holes to drill, and you'd have almost 3/4 of your system done. Another 4 holes for your breakout board, and that shows you exactly where you're at. I mean, it's pretty crazy how fast you can have this chassis built. And as far as making it serviceable, your drive mounts are toolless. for your actual heatsink, which is mandatory when you're using a pro grade drive. Again, especially if you're using Gecko drives. If you're not using Gecko drives, the chassis will easily accommodate virtually any drive on the market. So again, you have that availability. But overall, you can see here now, I get some guys that'll say, well, I want to put different ports in the back. Again, it's so thin, the material, if you tell me specifically what you want, I can have that done. It'll be a special order component. And again, to make sure it's dipped and have everything done, I can do that. But I would request that you let me know ahead of time. It'll take probably about 7 to 10 days to have done. But rest assured, it will be done right and be done simple, and that's the main thing, is that you guys have that simplicity. Now again, this is a 72 volt power supply, guys. If you're going to go with a 48 volt power supply, 48 volt, I'm going to see if I can find one real quick, is about half of this unit. So just to give you an idea, you're going to have even more room with a 48 volt unit. Okay, and again, using the actual breakout or DB25 cable, instead of mounting your breakout board, typically what you see most vendors do is mount them to the actual back of the port where they actually machined it in the bulkhead of their enclosure. Doing it this way allows you to mount it anywhere, and on top of that, when you need to service it, just undo the cable and pull your board out. You're done. So again, very, very, very simple design and super effective. Again, you have all of your actual room that you need. There is no drive bays in the way from a computer case, and again, we've eliminated that constraint where every side panel is mandatorily welded on, where you can't service the unit. You'd have to, you know, literally remove the base internal plate to do anything. This is the simplest design. On top of the fact, if you guys don't want the fans mounted internally, you can always make more room in the box if you needed to. I mean, I don't know how much room you're trying to add, but you can always mount them outside the box and have the fan just blowing inside. I mean, it's totally up to you. But again, the unit will not come, again, these I'm just showing you the accessories. Matter of fact, I'll show you the way the unit will come. Based. The unit will come just like you see here. Of course, it'll be broken down for ease of shipping, again, and no damage. One of the things I kept running into, and I don't know how many systems you guys have built, but when you start ordering large enclosures, you deal with dents, scratches, dings. It's a mess. This unit completely breaks down, and being it completely breaks down, you're set as far as less shipping costs and just overall a much, much easier unit to deal with. So she will come with the DB25 cable for your breakout board. She will come with the dual 60 mil Sanyo Denki cooling fans, your e-stop switch, power switch, fuse, GX16 3-pin connector for your AC input, and it'll come with GX16 5-pin connectors, 4 of them, for your actual drive motors. So your motor outs, you'll have all them. Basically all you need is the drives themselves. You'll need your drives, of course, your drives, your heat sink, and basically your power supply breakout board of choice. And again, to convert this unit from DB25 into USB, the only thing you'd actually require is a UC100 with a female adapter in your set. You can use a gender changer, or we just use, now again, this is a male DB25 cable, male to male both end. You'd use a male, female, and you're set to go. Well, I hope you guys have found the video informative. I hope that you understand that I put a lot of time in figuring out what I think will offer the most simplistic terms as far as serviceability and actual options for the DIY guy, or at least the shop owner who is looking at, you know, expanding their business into automation without making it to where it's mandatory that they hire a technician to service their equipment. I want you guys to all be able to work on your own equipment. It's the only way you're going to learn CNC the right way, in the terms of understanding each facet. You know, a lot of guys don't take that into consideration. The more you use the equipment and understand the equipment, the easier things come to, you know, fruition as far as actual finished products as well. So again, doing it this way, I cannot tell you how many clients message me, or even potential clients that message me and tell me they are always looking at saving money. I've had clients tell me they pay $7,000 to $10,000 for controllers, which was absolutely ridiculous, and it's just not necessary. You guys can get the same precision for 98% of the machines you're working with in, again, small business atmospheres. You're not Nestle Foods, you're not looking at, Bausch and Lomb, where you're trying to do massive production. If you are doing that, I recommend looking elsewhere. These machines will, though, for a small to medium-sized business, they will accelerate your productivity through the roof. So it is something to consider. And again, you're owning a robot, so the precision is definitely there if it's built with care and understanding. One other set that will be coming with this unit, or I should say another accessory, I will be doing a pro-grade graphics set. If you purchase one of these enclosures, I will include that. They will be done in 3M. They will be over laminated in 3M 8518 gloss over laminate, just like my other units. They will come with application fluid. They will come with transfer tape, and you will have the ability to literally make a pro-grade enclosure. Everything will then be documented as far as where you're at. You'll have allocations for all of your access, your AC inputs. You can do virtually anything you want and label it with whatever you want. If there is something you need custom done, you can message me, and if you have good, clear artwork, I can use that too. Of course, that will be a custom pricing, but it is possible. The main thing here is that you guys now have available to you an enclosure that is truly designed around CNC, and on top of that, it's shielded. I mean, I really don't know what else I could have done. It completely breaks down. I mean, it's simple. It's a very, very simple design, and that was what I was really trying to do. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy it. And again, if you do have any questions, let me know. And once again, I know I'm going to get questions on, can I make this into a G540 design? Can I make this to support my 6-axis chassis? Yes, I can. The big thing here, again, is time. If you want a custom built chassis, of course, let me know. We'll get it taken care of. Again, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not the fastest. I don't pride myself on being the fastest. I pride myself on you getting the quality you deserve, and quality takes time. And those that are willing to respect that will get the best product that I can put out. So again, you guys have seen it all, and you can see again just how big the actual top plate is. And it doesn't get much easier than that. Just lay it on top, bring it up, and you're in. That's it. So once again, guys, if you do have any questions, please don't be afraid to ask. But and all this stuff, and I can't emphasize that enough because I get messaged about that a lot, all the components that you've seen in this video are available in my store, and we can make it happen. Whatever you basically want to retrofit, if it's a machine that you feel you're ready for automation, this would be the chassis I would recommend if you're going pro grade. And again, even if you want to go with G251X drives, you can. I've had a lot of guys ask me about the DB9 connectors. You can use these and go right into GX16, and again, much more durable connector. And like I said, the sky's the limit. So again, I thank you all my subscribers. I can't thank you enough. Again, any support I can offer, I'm always willing to. I will say this, that for the occasional jerks out there that I get, the internet trolls, if you post a comment and it's a stupid comment, and you all know it's stupid, it gets deleted. I maintain my channel. I want my channel to be informative. I want you guys to have proper information. There's a lot of misinformation online, and I want you guys to enjoy that and know that. There is no dumb question. If you ask me an honest question, I will do my best to answer it. However, if anything comes across derogatory, insulting, just anything that you normally would not say to someone when you first meet them, it's going to get deleted. So just keep that in mind. Again, you can message me directly through my email. It's storm, STORM 2313@gmail.com. Again, if you have any questions, you can also go through eBay. My store is eDealers Direct Automation. It'll say eDealers Direct. The automation was left out because of the length. And again, my name is Vince, lead engineer. Thank you very much. Take care.